Fractions in Disguise, a math adventure by Edward Einhorn, illustrated by David Clark. Some kids collect baseball cards, some collect action figures. Me, I collect fractions. I've been collecting them for exactly 2/3 of my life. In my bedroom, shelves full of fractions cover 3/4 of the walls. Maybe it's because I was born during a half moon, or maybe it's because I'm a quarter genius, a quarter stubborn, 1/3 determined, and 1/6 crazy. But for me, it all adds up to one thing. I can't get enough of those darn fractions. So when a brand new 5/9 went up for auction, you know I was first in line to buy it. The 5/9 is a thing of beauty. When you first look at it, it looks like a half, but the more you look, the more you realize it's just a little bit more. The room was filled with the regular customers, Baron von Mathematik, Madame de Geometrique, and the mysterious Dr. Brok, a former university professor rumored to have been fired for the illegal possession of a 4/0. I bid $500,000. Madame de Geometrique bid $750,000. Baron von Mathematik bid 7/8 of a million. Our bids were clearly approaching $1 million. Would we ever reach it? Suddenly, we found ourselves in darkness.
"There's foul play afoot,"
cried the Baron. His fears proved true. When the lights went back on, the 5/9 was nowhere to be seen. Neither was Dr. Brok.
"Alas, he's stolen it!"
exclaimed Baron von Mathematik.
"He never gets his fractions fair and square,"
agreed Madame de Geometrique. But how can he hope to hide it? I asked.
"He's a master of disguise, Mr. Factor,"
Madame de Geometrique explained.
"He can take a half and turn it into a 2/4 or a 3/6. It's still the same fraction, but it looks different."
So am I to understand that he could take a 3/5, I began.
"Multiply the 3/4 and the 5/4,
continued Madame de Geometrique, and have something that looks like a 12/20, I concluded.
"But it's still 3/5 really,"
Madame de Geometrique agreed.
"He just doesn't want you to know it." "My poor beautiful fraction,"
wailed Baron von Mathematik. "Don't despair," I said. "I have an idea." That night, I worked till dawn. By morning, I had what I needed, a reducer. What is a reducer? It's half ray gun and half calculator, made from a whole lot of paper clips, a whisk, some discarded computer parts, and sheer ingenuity. What does it do? It removes the disguise from a fraction and reduces it to its lowest terms. I tested it out that morning. For a long time I had owned a 10/15, but I suspected that it could be another fraction in disguise. I pointed the reducer at it and dialed a 2. The top number, or numerator as we call it in the trade, wavered, trying to turn into a 5, but the bottom number, or denominator, stayed the same. I dialed a 3, and the denominator turned to transform into a 5, but the numerator wouldn't budge. I dialed a 4, and nothing happened. Finally, I dialed a 5. The fraction changed completely. The 10 became a 2, and the 15 became a 3, leaving me with a sleek 2/3. The reducer was ready to go. Dr. Brok lived in a mansion that had to be 1/10 of a mile tall. When I rang the bell, he opened the door halfway. "Let me in, Doctor," I told him. "I know you have the 5/9 in there, and I'm going to find it."
Come in," he purred. "Take a look around. You'll see no 5/9 in here."
I went in. There were fractions everywhere, piled on shelves, bursting from cupboards, covering the floor. There was even an enormous 100/100ths hanging from the ceiling. Quickly, I spotted my first fraud. "That 3/21, I said. "It's really 1/7, isn't it?" I pointed my reducer at the fraction and dialed a 3. Both the numerator and the denominator were divided, and now I had a 1/7 before me, as I had suspected.
That's a very interesting device you have there,
commented Dr. Brok, eyeing the reducer nervously.
Ingenious, really.
I found a few more fractions that could be reduced. An 18 over 10 became a 4 over 5, a 2 over 16 became a 1/8, and an 11 over 22 became a half, but no 5/9. I even looked through the garbage full of old fractions and fraction pieces so small they were worthless. I found a piece from a 1 over 28, a 1 over 63, and a 1 over 92. The 5/9 was nowhere to be seen. There was something I was missing.
Well, it was nice of you to visit,
Dr. Brok began saying.
I would invite you to stay longer, but I was just about to polish all my
This 1 over 63, where did it come from? I interrupted.
It's just an old broken fraction,
sputtered Dr. Brok. Quickly, I raced back to the 34 over 63. The tiny 1 over 63 fit perfectly into it, making the fraction a 35 over 63. This was a fraction that could be reduced.
Wait, no!
cried Dr. Brok. But it was too late. I had already pointed the reducer and dialed the 7. The 35 divided and became a 5, while the 63 divided and became a 9. There it was, right in front of me, the 5/9 I had been looking for.
Very clever,
Dr. Brok said with a sneer.
I didn't think you had it in you.
He raced up the stairs and unhooked a rope. Suddenly, the 100 over 100 above me began falling, all 100 pieces of it looking like daggers. I dialed the reducer up to 100, aimed high, and jumped for cover. A solid disc landed with a clatter and rolled away. The 100 over 100 had become a single whole, no longer a fraction at all, but Dr. Brok was gone. Baron von Mathematik and Madame de Geometrie couldn't believe it when I told them the story.
You did it, Mr. Factor,
the Baron cried, saluting me.
The fraction is yours,
said Madame de Geometrie.
You earned it.
I put it in the most prominent place on my top shelf, right next to the reducer. Now, every morning when dawn comes, the first ray of light through my window lands right on the 5/9. It doesn't look half bad. What did you think of this book, Fractions in Disguise? Let me know in the comments below. And tune in next time.